we screened every picture, and man, there were times you really didn't want to see that. One of the things that people may not realize is that every picture that's taken at Disney is screened in some way or other. When I was there, we had a department called QA, and there were actually a number of us photographers that were kind of QA at large, that when the number of pictures that needed to be screened backed up and got too many, we could actually step out and we could grab computers at various places, like where we sold the pictures, and we could start to screen pictures. But there was actually a devoted department there, and it's now a whole separate division all on its own, that every picture that comes in, that every photographer takes, actually goes to this place called QA, and they all get screened. This also includes the ride photos. When I was there, the only ride we had was Test Track. We really didn't have all the others. So you hear about things like Flash Mountain. There was a whole different thing that actually screened those, although now it's all PhotoPass. And we would check every picture. We would make sure that the exposure was right, that if the flash had not gone off, that the picture wasn't too dark, or in some cases just didn't come out at all, or that there wasn't inappropriate things, for example, going on in the background of a picture, or maybe the character was not in an appropriate pose because they were getting adjusted, or maybe there was a costume malfunction, or something like that. So we would watch for those. And you would get this batch of pictures that would come up. Typically, it would be from 3 to 7. And you would just glance through them really quick. And if they're all good, you'd just hit approve. And then you get another batch of pictures. And you would just keep doing this over and over and over again. And then if a picture stood out, and you got very good at seeing which one stood out for the wrong reasons, because people weren't where they were supposed to, because they weren't looking the way they were supposed to, because the picture was dark or overly bright or something else, just, you got your standard look, and all of a sudden here's this picture that just doesn't look that way. Okay, what's going on with this? And then you take a little more time. And so we would get these batches of pictures coming through, and you got very good, like I said, at learning quickly what was good and what wasn't appropriate. And yes, we would see things that were not appropriate. You would see people on Test Track, for example. Test Track, at the time, it was obvious where the camera was. And you would see people, knowing where the camera was, that they would do inappropriate things. Make rude gestures, or just do other stuff. You're kind of going... Test Track in particular, because those pictures come up on the screen where everybody walking by can see it, those you really had to screen live. I mean, as soon as it's taken, you were screening it, because you had to make sure that by the time they got off the ride and were walking to where the pictures could be seen, that if it was not appropriate, it was gone. So we would actually have one person that was dedicated just to Test Track, checking every photo, making sure that they were all good. But you would have other places that stuff would pop up. I can still remember I was in the QA room one time. Usually I was out in the park, but this one time we were just backed up, and so they pulled me out of the park, and I was working QA with all the other regular QA people. And I will never forget one of the ladies over a couple computers down from me. It's just this room filled with computers. All of a sudden screams. Just, ah! I can't do it. But I mean, it was just this high-pitched squeal of horror. And apparently this family had posted a picture, and mom was wearing a sun-tanning swimsuit without realizing that a tanning swimsuit is not really a swimsuit meant to be worn out. And so the photographer took the picture, the flash went off, and a suntan suit's meant to let the light through, and the light from the flash, whew, she was lit up in ways that nobody wanted. Delete. Just delete. Yeah. So you would occasionally get that. We were not supposed to keep the pictures. So, if something came through, we may refer it up to a manager. Sometimes if we got a really good picture, we'd refer it up and, hey, here's a model shot. QA love to mark great pictures to help give encouragement to the photographers. This is a great shot. This is fantastic. And we would mark not so good pictures. And they would occasionally take those pictures and they would post them up in QA. And there was one there for a long time that made the rounds that we love to pass around in the offices. And we would show to photographers, don't do this. And it was of a picture of a cute little baby, probably about a year old, eating a Cheeto in the park. Just a cute shot. And the photographer got this great close-up of them. And first glance, it is a gorgeous shot. And then second glance, you realize that this little baby, very innocently eating a Cheeto, is doing a very inappropriate gesture with its hand. which is part of the reason we thought it was so funny. But, yeah, that's just not going to go well. So, unfortunately for the family, that picture did not get to them. It was marked as not appropriate. Because even though it's an innocent child and they don't know what they're doing, everybody else is going to read into it. So you would see stuff like this. So you would have people get used to having, going through the pictures. And we would make adjustments. We could do some very simple, quick edits. So if we did get a batch where the pictures were all dark, we would brighten them up and try to remove shadows and try to make them look decent, because you didn't want somebody to lose their pictures. We also had a process there that we called guest recovery. And this is when a picture didn't come out, just plain didn't, or if they lost a picture, or if they had the wrong family in the pictures. And it was an important picture, say, the pictures with Mickey. We would try to find a way to get the picture taken care of. If for some reason their picture didn't get attached to their PhotoPass, which happens, it various reasons, but it does happen sometimes. If we knew where the picture was taken, the date, the time, what somebody looked like, we could find that picture. I actually got really good when I was up at the camera store and people come in saying, well, where's our picture? Okay, tell me where it was, when it was, and I could typically find that picture within about 5 minutes. You just got really good. Okay, we've got all these criteria. What did the photographer look like? Were there other characters nearby? Did they do a magic shot? Which kind of magic shot? How were you posed for it? And, where on Main Street were you? And we could narrow it down and just, enter this information in, and boom, 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 we could find the picture. If people called us after they got home, we could do the same thing. A lot of times if you had the wrong family on the PhotoPass, which occasionally they get the card scanned wrong, okay, let me look up this picture. Let me look at the other pictures taken around it. Oh, hey, lo and behold, you were the family right after them. There you go. And you take off the one family and add on the correct one. So you got good at that. The worst part was when you actually had a picture that didn't come out, or if they were on a ride and somebody did something inappropriate and ruined the ride photo. That would drive me nuts. On Test Track, you'd have a family riding it, and they'd have 4 out of 6 seats, and then you got some goober on one of those extra seats who went in the single rider line, and they're doing something utterly stupid and gross or rude, and so the picture gets deleted because of it, and then this family's got a picture that it's gone. Well, what do? Well, that's where guest recovery comes in. Hey, your picture's gone, and we would have one of us standing outside where the pictures were at the time at Test Track, where the guests would see it, and if their picture didn't come up, we could actually step into the little closet there, and we could look it up, and we could see why, and if it was something like that, all right, hey folks, you got an extra 5 minutes, let me walk you back up, we're going to put you back on the ride, and we're going to let you get an actual good picture. And we put them back on the ride. And a lot of times if it was because there was somebody who had done something dumb, all right, we're going to put just the 4 of you on the ride and you're not going to have anybody else, so we don't have to worry about it. If their picture with Mickey didn't come out, worst case scenario, if we can't find the picture, we can't recover it, we'll walk you back and we'll take you back to Mickey. Or I happen to know Mickey is right over here. Let me give the boss a call and we're going to get you another picture with Mickey. So that was the worst case. We would do everything we could to fix the picture or find the picture. But we did have times, man, you know what? This is your favorite character. This is your Disney vacation. We're going to get that picture back for you. So guest recovery was huge for us. The two really worked hand in hand. When you would get a customer or a guest walking into the view, hey, want to look at my pictures? They didn't come out. Or where are my pictures? So QA has already been involved. They've already looked at the pictures. They've already tried to do what they can. And then guest recovery, is what we call the process of stepping at that point, saying, all right, here's what we've got. Here's what we don't have. Here's what we can do. And it was hard sometimes because you had to sometimes essentially bend rules. But at the time, we had the power to be able to do it. Everything to do what we could to help that guest out. An example, one time that we would go above and beyond, because that was what was expected. I had one family come in, and at the time, we actually burned pictures onto CDs and DVDs. Yeah, no downloads. They didn't do the downloads yet. But they had come in to look at their pictures, and they were getting DVDs. DVDs took forever to burn. We would actually tell them, okay, folks, here, let me get your order for the DVD. Go spend a couple hours in the park and then come back, and hopefully I'll have your DVD ready. Yeah, it could take a couple hours if they had that many pictures. And I had one family come in, and they must have had 1,000 pictures. Yes, you could actually do 1,000 pictures there because they'd been there for like 2 weeks, and they had all of these photos from all of their time, and the DVD burner was just taking forever. And it's their last day. They're getting ready to head out, of course, because that's when you get your pictures. And this DVD is not going to be ready. So, I mean, I've got it burning. I've got the computer set aside. It's not doing anything else but burning pictures. And they go out for a couple hours. They come back, and it's only halfway done. It's got like 2 hours left of burning pictures. And I'm sorry. So they go out. And at this point, I'm like, they're not going to have time. They've got to leave. They've got to get ready. They've got to go home and get packed and get ready to actually go home. So where are you staying? What hotel? If you're staying at a Disney resort, I will deliver this DVD to you. I will get it to you before you go. And of course, they're not staying at a Disney resort. They're staying at a timeshare location off property. Okay, which timeshare are you at? Maybe I can make it over there. Well, it turns out they actually were staying at one that was about a mile away from where I lived. Okay, folks, here's what I can do for you. You're at this timeshare. I'm down the road. I will get your DV done. When I get off work, I will bring it to you. And I actually, at the time, gave them my address and my phone number. Don't do this. But in this case, it was part of a longer conversation over the course of the day. Here is where I live. Just so you know you can trust me. I'm going to get your DVD to you. And got their address at the resort, got a phone number for me to call so that way I could let them know I was on the way, and made all the arrangements. They head out. They got a couple other souvenir things. They waved one time as they were walking out to let me know they're heading out of the park, and I looked down, and the DVD finishes right at that point as they're walking out the gates. Oh my! Slap this thing open, put it in the package, get into a bag, grab the receipts, and I'm literally running out the gates of the park, trying to catch them as they're getting on the ferry boat, and got them right at the entrance of the ferry boat. I've got your pictures! But yes, got their DVD to them right as they were getting ready to head out back to the parking lot. So it was great timing. I got a wonderful thank you card from them later, but we got it. So that was all part of the deal, all part of QA and guest recovery, and all working together to do the best we could for the guests and get them the pictures. I hope you enjoyed this little look at some of what went wrong, the process, and how we could do things. I hope you enjoyed this little look background. My studio right now is a mess. We've been cleaning stuff up, and there's just stuff that's gotten dumped. So, how do you record a video? But I hope you enjoyed this look at what that was like. If you got questions, please let me know in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear them. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you as well to my patrons and my supporters. Be sure to check the description. There's a ton of info there. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.